Tyber, thanks, mate, for fitting us in. I know that even when you haven't got an album coming out, that you're always double busy when we watch what you're up to on socials. So it's good of you to find some time for us, mate, because I know you're always doing a million and one things.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It does seem that way.
I bet you never get a chance to stop for breath, do you?
No, and I've got a 14-year-old daughter who's rather a single parent, so that sort of adds a bit of... she's only been living with me for a year, so that's another dimension of the thing. So I've sort of got to make sure I've got the time to be a parent as well at the same time. Yeah, it does seem that way, but I think at the end of it, somehow I've got to make sure I've got time, because no one in the back of your life, all you've done is work and and sing your whole life through. It doesn't sound like a bad job or a bad thing to say, but you've still got to find the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's they got to come first, wherever you are, whether you're a street sweeper or the front man of a massive reggae and ska band. You can't.
Sure.
It calls top trumps, doesn't it? Having kids.
Sure.
I was looking back at when we last spoke to you, and actually, coincidentally, it was the eve of the release of the last album, Palm Trees and 80 Degrees.
Yeah.
And that was the Thursday night we spoke, right on the eve of the release. And do you know, it says here July 26, 2019. Is that right?
Sounds about right to me, yeah. It's time has flown past. I know it's been 3 years. 3.5 years or something. Yeah, I don't look at it.
I bet you don't, yeah, too
feels
busy.
Like a long, long time ago, but...
lots happened since then, but it did so well, didn't it? I bet you must have been chuffed with how well it did that in the charts.
Yeah. I mean, I was really over the moon, especially as we've done it all ourselves. There was no PR company behind us, no management company, no record company. It was just us, the very organic and the public. So, we've got songs like Kiss from Lips to 21 in the charts before, and Truly Madly Deep number 23. But to do an album is, that's a real sort of like an eye opener for me to go, wow, the business and the band has really moved, so far in such a short space of time. So, but the only thing is now we've set the bar, because the last album said that the Palm Trees No Degrees went number 11. This new album, Voice from the Sun, I'm sort of, I'm quite hell bent on making sure it beats that, but it doesn't always work like that. Potentially ship more copies of an album, but obviously it depends largely on who's releasing that week. So you could easily do more copies of this album, and it could come in at number, I don't know, 25 in the chart or something, or 23 or something. It just depends on who's releasing that week, and you can never tell really. If you get half a dozen big wigs releasing their albums this week, it sort of makes it doubly difficult for all the other bands, that are also releasing. But anyway, it's a nice little target to set, and I'm not really too upset if we don't beat the number 11. I'm still feet firmly on the ground again. Well, look, we're doing this on our own to go and do what we're doing and break into the top 20 is an achievement. And I'm not sort of, but that competitive edge in me is always going, no, we've got to beat the last album, but. We'll see. As I said, it comes out tomorrow. So today's the last day to sort of pre-order it. It comes out tomorrow. You'll be able to go and buy it, and then obviously tomorrow being the 12th, and it charts on the following Friday the 19th, and we'll get an idea of where we are.
Wow, I bet you're excited though. I mean, because like you say, you've got yourself this little target now that you want to beat, and it did so well, didn't it? And so I bet you're buzzing for tomorrow now. So
I don't really know. The thing is with me, someone said to me, I've got so much going on that I don't really sort of like sit back and wait for something to happen. I'm sort of always on to the next thing. I mean, I've got my bar down in Tunbridge Wells, Tyber's Rum Bar, and we're doing the launch party down there tonight. Tickets is all sold out, and Taz, our guitarist, is DJing, and myself and Pete are singing, and a couple of the other band members I'm sure will be coming down as well. But there's just so much going on that I don't really sort of like get worried about any one thing, because there's always something else that I've got to crack on with. So I suppose the beauty of being busy, that I'm not hanging on one thing, going, this week. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's taken up a huge part of my time, but I'm not getting too worried or involved with whether we do break, get to number 11 in the chart, because it's, as long as I do what I've always done, which is chuck everything but the kitchen sink at it, then I'm not too worried. I'd be worried and a bit, apprehensive if I felt I hadn't done a lot to promote the album, but I'm literally trying to think of everything I can do to get it out there, to get the fan base to buy it, because oddly enough, if all the fan base went and bought it, it'd be a number one album. It's tricky. Like trying to get people who have joined your Facebook and your social media and gone, yeah, I like the Jewelers, I'm going to follow them, trying to get them all to buy it. If they all did that, then it would be, you know, you'd have a number one album or top 3 album in the country. So it's like, it's you know, it's in your grasp to do it. That's the thing. It's like, I've done the hard part. I've built the fan base up. That's the hardest part. Now I've got to try and convince them.
Well, do you know what though? I have to say, and I'm sure you'd agree though, that the Jewelers fan base, they're fiercely loyal, aren't they? I think we talked about this before, is that they really are behind you 100%, aren't they? So it's
100%, yeah, I agree, 100%.
I've never
100%.
seen anything like it, really. Terribly loyal.
No, well, I almost fear for the people that dare say anything negative, because I'm like, look, I don't have to say anything, because our fiercely loyal fan base is probably like hyenas rip you apart on the on social media, because it's just they're totally. I think it's got largely the fact that A, you've been going a long time, you know, and B, you're starting out as a busker, so you can't get any more humble than that in the music industry. You're not saying, oh, I'm amazing, or, you know, don't we look great? We're on a high street, we're trying to earn a living, and therefore there's a lot of people that have grown with me that have known me for 20 odd years now.
Oh, and, for sure, yeah.
You know, so
I remember seeing
they
you
feel
there.
like they're part of it. You know, it's almost part of their journey too. It's not like, oh, yeah, this guy, he's like, no. And we played so many people's weddings, christenings, birthdays, funerals. So by doing that, you automatically sort of connect to these people, because they're bringing you into that sort of family environment, or you're meeting, you know, someone at a gig and they go, I was in my mum's pram at 2, watching you 3 years of age. So they've almost grown up with you.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So I think that creates that fiercely loyal, because you're almost part of the family.
Oh yeah, you are. I mean, I remember watching you on a TV music channel in Plymouth in about 2005. Kiss on the Lips would come out, and then I saw
that Stars TV, was it
something
Stars?
like that. Yeah, it was like a. I thought it was the Box or something like that. One of the sort of the later channels as you go flicking through it.
Sure.
And I remember seeing that, and then when I moved to Essex, you are on Romford Market, you know, years ago, and so I've seen it all virtually from the start, and it's like those fans, they love you to bits, don't they? And woe betide anyone that knock you, you know. So hopefully they will all buy the album.
Because I think it's been genuine as well. It's not like, oh, I went on a TV show and that really enhanced my career. It's all been absolutely genuine. It's like stood on High Street, not because of any other reason. I had to earn a living, and you know, I had rent to pay, and it, you know, just sort of like built from there. And then, you know, I think, as I've been saying for a long time now, it's the North. When I say the North, that includes the Midlands and Scotland and Ireland and all the other places above London. As soon as they found us, I think that was a big, like the elevation to the success, because it was just, you know, social media, it blew up, you know, from me doing something on a high street and probably getting 150, 200,000 views, went up to like 20 million views. And I'm pretty certain that's the North and Midlands and Ireland and Scotland and Wales and the rest of the world viewing it. And that's really a massive key to the Jewelers' success. It was the busking videos that went viral.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it did, and it got a lot of attention. And sort of touching back on those original years for a minute, I saw that you had Si come back to do a gig with you not too long ago, didn't you? What was that like?
Yeah, little old Wembley.
Yeah, just a little the odd place. Yeah.
I had the idea a little while ago. We've been talking about it, and it just seemed like a good time. And, you know, I was up for it, but I wasn't sure that he would be, because, you know, that he's got loads of things going on, and normally our paths don't cross, because when I'm gigging, he's gigging. But I put it to him, he did already have a gig, and obviously he wasn't going to miss out on the opportunity to play Wembley Arena. And so, yeah, he joined me on stage and came out of the bucket, as we used to do, and we covered we played some of the old songs that we did. He only came out with that four songs, I think. But it went down really, really well. It was really touching, really. And obviously a lot of the people that were at Wembley remembered us from back in the day. So it was... he was more nervous than I was, because I think when you come out and you're on stage for an hour and a bit, your nerves calm down a bit. But when you're only on for 4 songs, you don't get the chance for your nerves to calm down.
No.
So he came on sort of absolutely quite hyper. But you would do it. It's Wembley Arena.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to go, right, and he'd been there for most of the day because obviously we'd done the sound check and he just wanted to soak up the atmosphere. But yeah, he was on for about 20 minutes. But I know he came when it was just like, oh my God, he's just hyper like
bouncing off the walls, yeah.
But you would do, and it's a good sign because he's totally embracing the atmosphere and the occasion.
Well, yeah, when I saw it, I thought it was absolutely lovely. Really nice thing to do. A lovely touch for the the fans.
I think as well, it helps people because it's what the journey's been about. I mean, although my brother's not with me now and he hasn't been with me for like 10, 12 years now, it's like he was the one that actually started the whole thing. And it would be crazy to not do the biggest gig in my life and not have the man that started it all by my side.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So, but yeah, it was lovely. I'm sure there was many a tear shed, especially by my mum.
Oh, bless. It's a great thing, mate. You'll look back on that as a high point.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, I'd appreciate you saying that.
No, it's lovely. I was chuffed to see it. And speaking of sort of older times coming back, I noticed Red Light has re-emerged. And there's a lovely tune, but we get asked to play that a lot already. And I see, is this the lead track off of Voices from the Sun, Red Light?
Yeah, no, what it was I've done 3 albums since my brother left, 3 albums of albums that I've actually written myself. And on that, the first album I did was an album called Back to Paradise.
Back to Paradise, yeah.
And I knew that was the biggest, well, if not one of the biggest songs on the album. I really, really liked it, and I was confident that people would like it. Then over the last sort of like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, it's blown up, and I thought it would do. But the first album I did when my brother left, I didn't have hardly any money. I was borrowing, scrimping and scraping off people. I recorded that album in a rehearsal studio. It's not really a proper recording studio. So the sound quality of it isn't very good. Okay. So you listen to it, and but it's not until the second album, which is Palm Trees Native Degree, did I really invest a lot of money into the sound.
Oh, it's great. I've got it on vinyl. It's lovely, mate.
The quality difference between Back to Paradise and Palm Trees Native Degree is chalk and cheese. So I knew that I had this brilliant song called Red Light that everyone seemed to love and everyone's singing it at our gigs, but the sound quality of it wasn't good enough. And I thought, well, hang about. Why don't we at least put that on the new album, bring it right up to sonically a much better sort of level, and then just chuck it over to radio, which is what we've done. So we've had like Steve Wright playing it on Radio 2. It was on Radio 2's C-list, I think, for about a month. So they were playing it up to 4 or 5 times a day, as was Vanessa Feltz, and I think there was a couple of other DJs as well playing it. So yeah, it's really been given a big airing, but the reason why I just popped it on this new album was because it needed to be re-recorded, so the quality was that much better because it was such a popular song.
Yeah, it does sound lovely. Yeah, it's a lot more polished.
Yeah, it's a radio edit. It's a radio edit, but I mean, there's still like I think 13 other tracks on there. But it was a radio edit of it. And it's just a far better quality than the on the original album. It's what Bob Marley did a lot. If you listen to Legend and you kind of go, yeah, it's like the best of Bob Marley, it is, but it's all re-recorded.
That's right,
so you hear some of the original songs, if you hear him originally singing, I don't know, Three Little Birds or something, it's, there are original recordings of him and they're nowhere near, so he's brought Legend up to a standard, and it's now, but a lot of people don't realise that most of
it's been done before,
It's been done before, and this is all I've done with Red Light. The recording of it wasn't very good, so I just re-recorded and put it on this album. So,
lovely, mate. Well, it's a great song. Like I say, the Back to Paradise version, we get asked to play that regularly already, and we have done for a while. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, we do.
You've got the version on Voice from the Sun, which is the new album. It's on there. It's a better quality version anyway, so it's more of a radio edit, which means obviously it's going to last within that 3-minute bracket, which is what radio love.
Yeah. Well, we've actually, I think we've got a copy of it actually that we're going to play when we're done speaking. So we've actually got a copy of that new edit off the new album. So we'll be giving that a play shortly. But we're looking forward to it, mate. So it's out tomorrow, Friday.
It comes out tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got 1 week. We've got 1 week to go and get as many people, and obviously if you can champion and advertise it, I'd really appreciate it.
We will, man.
You can get it Amazon. The easiest one is obviously buy it on Amazon, and then you can download it on Spotify, Apple Music, I think HMV as well. But yeah, I mean, it's about the next 7 days and go and try and get as many people right, and then we all tune in. I don't know what particular time it is on next Friday the 19th to see how well it's done in the chart.
Lovely. Well, we'll be pushing it, mate, and we'll make sure that all the listeners get behind it. And we've got, as I say, you've got
Thank you very much.
This 7-day window. Yeah, no, we're big fans, and the listeners often ask for your stuff. Looking forward to playing the new track.
No,
and stuff off the album from next week, I suppose. We'll have a go on some of that.
Absolutely.
So you'll
Let me know which are the popular ones.
I will, mate, and it's always different. It's never the ones you expect, I suppose, is it?
No, true. That's the great thing about music, isn't it? It's like, you kind of sort of, you think you know the ones that are going to be popular, but there's always a couple that come out and go, wow, I wouldn't be surprised if that one's been popular. But that's the thing about music. It's not like I'm not selling things. It's like what are the songs that touch you? What are the ones that actually mean something to people? And there's always a few surprises on an album for sure.
Would I tell you what? I don't know if you'd think you'd expect this or not, but do you know the one that we get asked to play the most from Palm Trees?
Go for it.
Sounds Like a Lie to Me.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's mad, because someone said that I did a Q&A, I did the Tyber Live thing on Facebook yesterday, and that came up then, and I'm like, yeah, that's another one that I've always sort of, it sounds really arrogant now, but it's always like, there's so many good songs that, Pete and I were chatting about the other day. I was like, wow, we really do have to sit down and go through, we've got like an archive. Like, how old are we? Like, we've got an archive of tracks. It's like, it makes me sound like, we're some band from the 60s or something. It's been going for like 50 years. But it's true, we have got an archive of tracks that I do think at least the beginning of each year, before we start the gigs for the year, that we should just go back into the archive and just pluck out a few songs to have on the, standby to go, like, we're going to, swap the set list with them. Because I'm always really conscious of that. I think bands can tend to get quite lazy, because normally we don't live in a day and age now where everyone lives around the corner from each other. Everyone lives quite far apart, in bands in general. So getting to rehearsals is always quite a big thing. The only thing with rehearsals is an unpaid thing to do. So it's dedicated time. And what bands tend to do is they tend to get stuck in a rut. They just keep playing the same songs all the time and go, wait a minute, stop. I came to see you and I love that track. Why isn't that track in the set? And they go, well, 99% of the time, because they just haven't got time to rehearse.
We haven't got together to do it. Yeah, it's always the way, though. I mean, when I was in a reggae band in Plymouth and I moved away, the set never changed again, because we all knew what we were tight with when we all sort of dispersed. So you don't come back together to do the other stuff, do you?
No, absolutely. I mean, I've got one eye on that. I'm aware of that there's some songs that we should be, it's definitely bringing back and stuff. And not only that, it keeps everyone on their toes, because you can become complacent if that song next, like the one we've been playing for the last year. Same running order, same song, same version. Yeah. I think it's really important that you sort of like always try and throw a spanner in the works a little bit, because it keeps everyone on their toes, keeps them all fresh, keeps it all, And not only that, when you do that, you're surprised at how many sort of little amazing things can happen. Little things when you get creative. Oh my God, by joining that song to that song, it's like,
we could run into this or do that and come out.
Well, absolutely. It's a form of art, and art, it should be constantly moving and changing and, and learning all the time. So to me, I think it's really important to do that. But yeah, Sound Like a Lie, I really do like that song. It has come up quite a few times.
It's a great tune. Oh,
mate,
everything about it.
I tell you what, it's quite mad is that I'm not one for going and listening to myself. It's taken me a long time to actually go and listen to myself. So now I'm getting a little bit more comfortable, but it's a bit mad to be going, I'm just going through my songs to see which ones I like, and listening to your own words, your own voice, your own production. It's, it takes some to do that, but I'm getting better at it, but it's never my first port of call.
No, it wouldn't be, but you really ought to be proud of that last album and the sound quality and the production and the songs. And I'm sure Voices from the Sun will be exactly the same. Everything went up a notch, I think, when you
Sure.
that.
Now, that's always the aim, and that's what keeps the whole thing young and fresh, is that I don't want to hit a ceiling and go, that's the best we can do. It's like I'm already on to, even now, my thought process is creating another album and what I would do different, but not in a critical way at all. It's nice to keep moving and learning and changing and giving people something different all the time. And that's what, to me, what makes it exciting.
Well, you're definitely doing it, mate, and it's
nice
it's a joy to behold and watch things unfold for you.
Thank you for being behind us and supporting us. I well appreciate it. People like you that certainly help the journey.
It's a pleasure, mate. You make it enjoyable, and I hope it all goes well at the Rum Bar tonight.
Nice one.
And we'll be pushing to get some copies of the album sold to all the listeners, and we'll have everything crossed for the chart result next week, mate.
Nice one.
All right, pal. Well, thanks for your time. I'll leave you to it now. Good luck with it all. I'll talk to you again, hopefully.
Thanks so much.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Take care.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.